Hey everybody, this is Big Nose. I'm looking at the camera. I have it turned around so I can see myself. And I just realized I have a really big nose. But I'm Daniel. Quick time down. I don't know if I'm going to do that. But I'm Daniel, and I decided to make a little video today. Real simple. I'm just going to be talking about my game controllers. The game controllers I've collected over the years. These aren't everything. Like, I don't have my Nintendo. I had a bunch of PS2 controllers that have either broken or I guess are lost. But so I guess I'll start out with my oldest. Oh god, I got a whole fucking pile right here. Start with my oldest working controller. My sister has my NES. Ooh, lighting got messed up. Alright, she has my NES, so I don't have that controller. Speaking of which, if you guys have never actually seen Famicom, okay, let me fix this light. Fuck it. If you guys have never seen a Famicom, those things are awesome. And like the controller is actually attached to the back. And the second controller doesn't have a start or a select button. It has a mic, which is pretty cool. I don't know if they had Duck Hunt over in Japan because there's no place to like hook up a gun. I guess they had a gun. I don't know where they hooked it up. I've only seen one in real life like once. So I'm probably just making shit up right now. But Sega. This is the old school. Well, actually, this is the second generation Genesis controller with the 6 buttons right here, perfect for Street Fighter. I used to play that all the time. And I'll go ahead and say right now, what makes or breaks a controller for me is the D-pad. And I hate this type of D-pad. Looking back, I had no problems with it, but nowadays, especially with the Xbox controller, I hate these disc-like D-pads. They suck dick. But no, this was a good controller. I guess you could actually attach it to the Atari 2600 and the was it 7200, whatever it was called. But just a start button. I have 2 of these. It came with my Genesis, and you know they still work. I haven't tried it in a while, but both the system and this still work perfectly. So that's one Sega Genesis. I guess I'll get into the big one, right? What I have the most of is PS2 controllers. And my most recent is actually this controller. Looks just like, and it feels and plays just like a PS2 controller, but it's not. There's no logo, there's no Sony logo or anything. This is actually a really good controller, except it's wireless, and a lot of times I'll be playing games and it'll just say please reconnect DualShock 3 or DualShock 2. I'm going to be sending this one back to try to get a new one. Hopefully it'll work better. And the reason I got this controller is actually, I'll go ahead and skip around, was for my Wii. I just recently got a Wii, and I hate the fucking controller. I'll show that in just a second. But instead of buying a classic or a GameCube controller or whatever, which would have actually been more money, I figured it would actually a lot cheaper to just get a wireless PS2 controller and one of these PS2 to GameCube adapters. This thing's awesome. I've been having a lot of fun playing my emulator games and stuff, and once I get more Wii games that actually you want to use a controller for, all I have really right now is new Super Mario Brothers. So the Wiimote's fine for that. But once I want to put like Genesis, Super Nintendo emulator on it, and this is key. If you have a Wii and you're into modding, or hell, if you're just into good games, you might want to get something like this or a classic controller in the PS2. Going back to PS2 controllers, I had another wireless one. It was a lot bulkier and a lot heavier than that one. I really like that. I just like the feel of that one I just showed you. This is one of my Mad Cats. I had two of these. And Mad Cat fucking sucks. I don't... Maybe it just depends on what type of controller you get, but I've just always had really bad luck with Mad Cat. And this one, I had a white one. It broke. I have this one, and it was alright. I think my cat ate it. So I kind of had to tape it together with fucking Scotch tape because I'm a fucking ghetto fucker. And actually, I took this one apart because I want to make a PS2, PS3, PC arcade stick. And I was reading online that you can actually use one of these, and I just don't have the time or the money to really put into making a decent arcade stick. I know it would be probably a lot easier just to buy one and then just buy brand new buttons and brand new joystick, but I'm trying to go the cheap route. So, but still, it would cost me at least $50 to buy decent. You know, I need at least 8 buttons. And you know, that could be at least $20-$30 right there, depending on what type you get, and if you get different colors, you know, and a good joystick, you know, that can be up to $50. And obviously, I'm not going to spend $50 just on the joystick, but that's why this one kind of sucks dick. I don't really use it. Get that out of the way. But major thing I have, since I'm talking about PS2, this is for my PS3. It hooks, obviously. Hook your PS2 into it, plug it into the PS3. Sure, it's wired. I mean, if you have a wireless controller, there's probably really no problem. But you know, but it also works on PC, and that's for the longest time how I would play games on my PC. I would just use a PS2 controller and this little awesome. It's made by Pelican, so it works. This is probably one of the best like third-party accessory I've ever bought, and it still works. I've had it for about 6 years now. Next PS2 controller. Oh yeah, here it is. This is the same type as it's very similar, but it's a PS2 controller, wired. No cheap Chinese knockoff, and you know, it looks just like this one. It's actually a little bit lighter, not by much though. It doesn't even have rumble or anything, but this one just it has one of those D-pads. It's kind of like the because really with I'll go ahead, I guess with like this is a PS3 controller, official PS3 controller. It's actually the 6-axis, and the buttons with the D-pad. I'm going back to the D-pad thing. It's, you know, it feels more like its own independent button. Though you can kind of see it moving, but this one, it's just there's so much more movement when you hit this one. All the 3 other directions move really bad. I mean, this one does a little bit, but not nearly as much, and these are just not as, they're kind of stiff. I get real picky about my controllers. That's why I have so many PS2 controllers. And but you know, this is what I've been using. I've had some problems with it, but mostly with the sticky. It can be kind of stiff, but it's a good controller. Now, I guess moving on to PS3, since I already got one. Actually, I got 2. I just recently bought a new PS3 because my last one died. And the one I borrowed from a friend, he ended up taking back, and on a plane ride home, his girlfriend, it broke. When his girlfriend went home, she took it with her, and it broke. So, yeah, fucking PS3s. I mean, you hear a lot about the Xbox 360 having a lot of problems, but the PS3 had its own problems. But I got both of these controllers along with the system for about $100. And this is the 6-axis. Never much cared for the 6-axis. Never cared for twisting and stupid. But you know, this is a good one. These, like I was saying, that PS2 one's pretty stiff. These are nice. And here's the DualShock. It's a little bit heavier. That's why I actually like the DualShock 3 better than the 6-axis. Just because I don't even care about rumble. I just like, you know, you got this little bit of extra weight, like you're actually holding. I don't know. It just feels better to me. And sticks, or I mean, the sticks on this one are even better than this one. I don't know if that's just because this one's been used more, or if maybe they loosened up the sticks a little bit. But I mean, DualShock 2, DualShock 3, you know, this was my shit for a good, when did I get my PS? A good 10 years. And that's all I really used. I just never really cared for this. I know people, because they're trying to be a little bit more like a 360 or the Xbox controller with the you know, it's more like a trigger. I never really cared for that. Actually, I didn't really like it. I guess it is pressure sensitive, which no game uses. The PS4's controller, the DualShock 4, actually got rid of the pressure, which so few games. The only game off the top of my head to actually use that feature, like the sensitive extra pressure, whatever it's called, was Metal Gear Solid 2 and Metal Gear Solid 3, because you would hold down square just a little bit, and that would draw your gun, and then when you press a little bit harder, it would actually start shooting, which is so weird today. Nowadays, you know, all the games, they just use this. If they have a thing where you actually have to pull out your gun, you know, it's L1, R2, or, you know, L trigger, or left trigger, right trigger with the Xbox. Oh yeah, here's my shit. This is another PS2 controller. As you can see, I bought this for about $3 at Goodwill. I just bought it. Just why not? I didn't really think it looked cool. I don't really care about this. It's a pretty solid controller. Except I hate the D-pad. It's one of these little disc shits. So it just feels weird. I don't like it. It's like, might as well just have 2 analog sticks, really. If you're gonna make it like this freaking bouncy and wiggly.